Hello friendos and randos, welcome back to another video, and today we have this guy, Green Yellow Law. In my previous video on OP10, I said this.
I think the issue is just that the cost doesn't feel fair because you have to go through so many hoops to develop this extra character from your life, whereas, for example, Doflamingo would just go, okay, Jinbei Revo, and they got the same amount of value as you, and they didn't have to lose one life or to have like 5 costs of characters worth on board. So it feels very, very bad, I think.
And it's true, you have to jump through way too many hoops to get this guy's leader effect to work. So as a recap, Dawn times 1. Then, if you have 5 cost worth of characters on your board, you may return one of those characters to your hand. So, for 1 Dawn. For 2, 5 cost on board. For 3, return the character to your hand. For 4, review the top card of your life. And for 5, it must be a 5 cost or lower supernova type character card. So you need to achieve all 5 of these criteria in order to use your leader effect. Very, very convoluted for absolutely no reason. And just like the OP10 doesn't make any goddamn sense. So, of course, I had to play the leader. So, considering the leader effect is as such, you want probably 3 different types of characters and cards in the deck. For 1, you want character, like of course 5 cost or lower supernova type character cards. For 2, you want cards that are able to adjust the top card of your life. And for 3, of course, you will want consistency and you will want defense. So let's talk about the options that we have for the deck. So first off, when we're looking at 5 cost supernovas, I think the most obvious choice is 5 cost Cavendish. On play and when attacking, if your leader has the supernova type, then and you have no other Cavendish characters on the board, then set 2 of your Dawn as active. So really powerful effects. Of course, getting 2 Dawn active is very efficient, letting you play with a lot more options every turn. And with your leader effect, there is a lot more shenanigans to be had, and I will give you some examples later. But this is the first 5 cost character card we have. Next, we have 4 of the 5 cost blocker law. I'm running all 3 different arts, and I mean, I didn't want to run the base rare, so just the 3 different arts. Let me know which one is your favorite. Of course, on play, return one of your characters to your hand, and then you can play a 3 cost or lower character card from your hand. So very powerful card as well. It will allow you to keep reusing your searcher cards. Next, I'm running all 2 ofs. Firstly, of course, knowing me, red green law main, restand law, really good. On play, you may set one of your 5 cost or lower supernova or hard pirate types character cards as active. So of course, all your supernova types are options, and Cavendish is the number 1 choice for being able to restand, since the when attacking effect is not once per turn. I'm also running 2 of the promo card Bonnie. On play, if your leader has the supernova type and you have less life than your opponent, return one of your opponent's cost 4 or lower character cards to the top or bottom of their life. So I put this as a countermeasure to Lucky Rule because it was a really annoying card to face when I was playing against Shanks. And any other like card didn't really answer it as well as this Bonnie card did. So that's why I'm putting it in. And then lastly, it is 2 of the 5 cost OP07 Bonnies. On play, one of your opponent's rested Dawn or characters cannot be set active during their next refresh phase. So very powerful card. Again, with your leader effect later on in the game, when your board is full, you can just return it to your hand and play it back down, which is really good as well. I don't know about my friends in the West, whether you are like be able to get this promo card like easily or not, but if you aren't, then of course feel free to just tack it into one of each, or you can play 2 more of this Bonnie instead. Now that's all for the 5 cost character cards. Next, we're going to talk a little bit about consistency. So first, we have of course the new 1 cost yellow Luffy Searcher. Really good card. It's just a simple 1 cost on play. Look at the top 5 and grab a supernova other than Monkey D. Luffy. It also hits green cards, so you can of course grab any of these green cards as well. Speaking of green cards, we also have the 1 cost Bonnie. Very good searcher as well. Able to be used multiple times, so you can activate main, rest it, and then be able to look top 5. Also really good against Blackbeard because it is activate main, so you are still able to regain like hand size even though you aren't able to use these Luffy searchers on play. Alright, next is being able to rig up your life so that you can use your leader effect. And we have a few of that option. First we have 3 cost Bonnie, the new OP10 card, blocker, and on play you may add the top or bottom card of your life to your hand. Then you may place one of your cost 5, not or lower, cost 5 exactly, supernova type character cards to the top of your life face up. So this is a very straightforward combo. You are going to use Bonnie to place one of these cards on the top of your life, 1 Don on leader effect, bounce, you would need 5 costs on board, so let's say you have 2 Luffys, you would bounce 1 Luffy, play down your whatever 5 costs, and then that will be your leader effect for the turn. Very common combo is going second, you would play 2 1 costs, and then Bonnie, and then leader effect to play down blocker law, return 1 1 cost, and return the other 1 cost, and replay the searcher, or you can play another 3 costs. So that's the high roll going second combo. On that note, we also have 4 of the 1 cost mage. On play, you may add the top or bottom card of your life to your hand, and then you may place one of your supernova type character cards to the top of your life face up. Notably, Bonnie, you have to use exactly a 5 cost supernova character card, whereas mage, you can use like whatever supernova character card you have. Next, for more 2 costs, 2k counters, we have 3 of the new Tashigi card as well. Card name is Tashigi, although the picture is Smoker, but Tashigi is in Smoker's body in this case. So 2k counter, and when one of your green character cards were to be KO'd by one of your opponent's effects, KO'd or removed from the board by one of your opponent's effects, instead you may rest Tashigi. So I'm using this in order to protect my very key 5 cost characters, except for this Bonnie of course, and I'm also using it to protect. Later you will see the other key cards. Next I have 3 of X-Drake, just a yellow 2k counter. He is a 3 cost. You may rest this character and then rest one of your opponent's 4 cost or lower characters if you have less life than your opponent. Okay. Next we have 4 of the 2 cost Killer Blocker, whose price has recently shot up thanks to the popularity of Green Yellow Law. Blocker and Don ×1. On block, you may, if you have 3 characters or more, draw 1 card. So pretty good card. And this deck does have some hand size issues, which is why I've chosen to include Killer as the blocker of choice instead of the 1 cost Apu, which a lot of other players are also running. Alright, and of course the other card that Tashigi is supposed to protect, 4 of the 8 cost kit. So 8 cost kit, why I've played this is because this deck eats your own life really quickly. By playing 8 cost kit, you are able to make sure that even though you are at 0 life, you don't die right away. You're also able to play Tashigi off of 8 cost kit, so that makes it really good. So you can protect the 8 cost kit from any other effects. The only way that they can clear it is if they remove both the Tashigi as well as the 8 cost kit. And on top of that, you do have 8 different blockers to protect the 8 cost kit from just regular jamming. Last but not least, 2 different cards. First we have the 7 cost Law. We're only playing 3 copies because we are focusing on 8 cost kit as the top end, and we are going to be using this as alternative store by using it to heal, and also exactly on the 7 Dawn turn only and the 8 Dawn turn if we don't have a Cavendish on board. So 7 Law is really good because of that 7 cost 9k stat line. Vanilla stat line really good. Heals 1 indiscriminately. You can place any supernova type card, I believe. Let me check. Character card, sorry. You can place any supernova type character card to your life. So very good. And then it also attaches 1 rested Dawn, so you can use your leader effect on the same turn that is played. So that's very strong. Last but not least, I'm running 2 of Holy Jones. I think it's really good to help you close out games. Just being able to rest blockers, because you don't have that many tools to deal with blockers in this deck other than the X-Drake 2k counter. So I think this is pretty good. In general, it also helps with defenses, of course, because it rests active Dawn if they have any counter events available. So I want to make a quick guide on some of the lines and plays that you can do with this deck. I think it's really powerful. It's really fun from when I was playing it, but it does tend to feel a little bit high rolly. So let's go through some of the combos. Yeah. So I feel the 8-cost kit version of the deck wants to go first. And when you're going first, the 2 cards that you are looking for, no matter what, are Cavendish, 1-cost Beach, and then another 5-cost character. Right? So this is considered a good hand. If you want the best hand, it would have also 1-cost Luffy as well as a Tashigi. Now, the curve for this deck is very simple. So the curve for this deck is very simple. Going first, you go Luffy, and then you can go any 3-cost character. So Tashigi is okay, Bonnie is also okay. So if you had Bonnie, you would go oh, okay, cool. Let's say if you had Bonnie instead of Tashigi, you would go Bonnie, and then you would take your life, and then you would rig the life accordingly. Right? Here, usually, on the 5k swing from my opponent, if I started with Cavendish Beach and I then had Bonnie, I would just counter with the Beach here because I no longer need to have the Beach to rig my life. Right? So I drew a card. Okay, so on my 5 Dawn turn, you would want to play Cavendish and then set 2 Dawn active. And then since in this specific case it is blocker law on top of life, you want to play down the Luffy here. Do your search or whatever. Let's just say I drew a card. And then leader effect, returning the Luffy to hand, playing the blocker law down. A blocker law effect returns your other Luffy to hand. And then you can play a 3-cost down. So depending on your matchup, you want to play either your Tashigi or your Bonnie here. So Tashigi, good if you expect them to be able to try and remove the Cavendish. Bonnie, good if they are a deck that doesn't really run removal, like maybe Purple Luffy, and you want to set up your next turn's leader effect. So let's just say I take my life, and then I place a 5-cost. So remember that Bonnie only lets you put 5 costs on life. So if you don't have a 5-cost, you don't have to use the leader effect to take a life. So let's just do that. Okay. Now let's say it is the 7 Dawn turn. Right? And as much as possible, you want to try and protect your early life cards so that you can use your leader effect more often. So let's say it is the 7 Dawn turn. I have, let's say, ideally I have block 7-cost Law and 5-cost Bonnie in hand. So I go Law here, add Bonnie to the top of my life, and then pay 7, and I get 1 rested Dawn. Here the Cavendish swings, it gets you 2 active Dawn. And then you would play Luffy. Let's say you draw another card. Right? You have 1 active Dawn. You use your leader effect to return the Luffy, so you don't have to return all of your 5 costs, and then you play down Bonnie. And then now this is your board on the 7 Dawn turn. And then of course you can use the last Dawn however you see fit. Right? So this is like the high roll of the deck, right? Going first, and then next turn you block, maybe they clear one of your things, like maybe the Cavendish dies, and then you show 8-cost kit into Tashigi, and basically now you have a pretty decent board state at this point, right? So this will be your 9 Dawn turn. Now this is the going first curve, right? So let's go talk about the going second curve now. Going second, you're looking for a few different things. So the ultimate high roll is you open Luffy, Bonnie, blocker law. This is the best case scenario. Okay. Alternative best case scenario is Cavendish included, and the Luffy can be a different one cost. But Luffy is the best. So how do you play it out? Let's just say this is my starting hand. We'll just put a bait here. I do both Luffys. We'll search, let's say this and this. Okay. Then I'll pass. I will, depending on whatever the swing is, if it's too big, let's just say 8k swing, I'll take it. Draw for turn. Okay, now we are on 4 Don. We will attach 1 Don to leader. And then we will play the 3 cost Bonnie from hand. So Bonnie's effect grabs the top life, and then we will place a blocker law here. And we will use our leader effect to return the Luffy, play the blocker law, return the other Luffy, and then we can play Bonnie to set up next turn's life as well. So let's take it, and then let's set up a Cavendish here. So this is our 4 Don turn, and we have 11 cost worth of bodies on the board. So next, it is our 6 Don turn. So 6 Don turn, ideally what you want to do is you want to establish that Cavendish. So let's just say I have Tashigi here. I'm going to play Luffy Tashigi. We'll draw a card from the Luffy, and then we will leader effect to return the Luffy to hand, and then play the Cavendish. Restanding Don, and we will use all of our characters to punch our opponent. So let's say 5, 5, 5, 6, 7, or something like that. Okay. Now it is the 8 Don turn. Our Cavendish and Law are protected. We will use our Bonnies to block and protect our last remaining life. And this is the part where we are at 8 Don and we have Cavendish on board. Draw for turn. So we play 8 cost kit. 8 cost kit's effect. We can do anything from Luffy to Bonnie. For this case, let's just say Bonnie will take our life, and then we'll put a let's do restand law on life and set up for like a little the following turn. Now let's swing 6 with Cavendish, setting our 2 Don that we paid out for our kit active, and then attach 1 to our leader and then 1 to kit. Now we don't have to use our leader effect here, so we can just swing and then just pass turn like this, and we have 8 kit active. If we had played Luffy instead of Bonnie here, we could just use leader effect to return Luffy without playing the card from our life as well. So this will be the high roll 8 Don turn. Now, why I suggest that you protect at least 1 life is so that you can push for very powerful lethals. So I'm going to show you the strongest lethal example you have. So with Cavendish on the board, you are going to spend 1 Don on Beige to take your life and then put a restand law on life. That would be 1 Don. So you pay 1 Don for Beige, and then you get your restand law on your life. You can swing with your Cavendish to set this Don active. And then swing with other things on the board. So we're going to put 2 Don on this character. Swing 8 to your opponent. And then attach 1 to leader. And leader effect, returning the character with the 2 Don on it, so they come back rested. And then you play your restand law, setting Cavendish active. And then you can swing 9 again, set these 2 Don active. At this point, if you have another restand law available in hand, you can play that restand law for 5, set your Cavendish active again, and swing again for another 9k swing. So this is the ultimate giga strongest possible play that you have available, right? So you get 3 9k swings off of the Cavendish, and you still have 4 Dawn available, 3 Dawn available to attach to your leader or other characters. So this would be the really, really strong play. Otherwise, just very simply, Cavendish Beige into Law on the top life would be really good. You can also do, of course, the 7 cost Law into Law on your top life as well. And if you're a bit low on overall influence or Dawn, let's say you have a restand Law on the board already, you can swing 8 with the restand Law. Spend 1 Dawn on leader, return the restand Law to hand. You don't have to play anything if you don't have the option to. Attach 4 to the Cavendish. Yeah, attach how much to Cavendish. Attack, swing 2, restand. 5, swing 2, restand. You can attach 1 to the Cavendish here. You can attach 1 to the Cavendish. Sorry. You can attach 1 to the Cavendish, swing 7, restand these 2 down, pay 5, restand Law the Cavendish, swing again, restand these 2 down, and then if you have another restand Law, you can restand again, then swing 7, restand these 2 down. So there's a lot of different lines that you can use to get like multiple restands off in one turn, but what you are going to see most often being done for this deck is you are just going to see either Luffy, leader effect, return Luffy to hand, and then Luffy again to search and continue adding cards to your hand. The other option is to just use powerful on plays again, so just like restand Law, but instead you can use Bonnie. So you can go Bonnie, maybe if you have a Cavendish, you can do this at 10 Dawn. You can Cavendish swing, leader effect, return Bonnie, and then play the Bonnie again for 5. If not, if you have a Bonnie from your existing turn, you can always just leader effect after your Bonnie swings, leader effect, then play Bonnie again to lock your opponent's character over and over again. So these are just some of the key plays that you want to be making with Green Yellow Law. I think I very briefly glossed over, of course, 7 cost Law, adding restand Law to life. So this is really good for your 7 Dawn turn. You can do this, have Cavendish swing, leader effect, return something to hand, and then have Cavendish swing again. You get 4 Dawn open. If you're on your 8 Dawn turn, for example, this is even stronger because you can go, let's just say you have only Cavendish on board. You can go blocker Law, 7 cost Law, attach 1 to Law, and then place the restand Law on life. You have 6 rested Dawn, Cavendish swings for 6, you get 2 active. Leader effect, return whatever, let's say Luffy, return Luffy to hand, restand Law, restand the Cavendish, Cavendish swings for 6, you get 2 active. And then you now have 5 active Dawn, and you can play another 5 cost character. So this was all on your 8 Dawn turn. You were able to develop 7/5/5, which is really, really strong. So these are just some of the different lines that you can play with Green Yellow Law. Some of the flaws that I feel the deck has is, number 1, there's too many hoops to jump through. You have to spend a lot of effort to get a similar effect to Jinbei Weevil, and sometimes it's a worse effect than Jinbei Weevil. For one, you also lose a life, and you are a 4 life leader, so you are not super tanky. You do have 8 cost kit to play around and play towards, but sometimes you just don't draw it and then you just die, so that's also very difficult. But I think that the leader definitely has some potential, and there's still some time to solve the deck At the moment, I feel the 8-cost kit Tashigi version is really good. There's also been a few different versions with the 3-cost Mihawk as well as 4-cost Hawkins and 3-cost Zoro running around. That version does want to high roll a little bit more by playing 3-cost Mihawk into 4-cost Hawkins on your 4-on turn and then just leader effect gambaying the whatever your top life is. Which is still a pretty decent hit rate because you do run like 16 5-cost or lower good options, and with the Hawkins you may be running like closer to 20 instead. But I think personally I'm still a bigger fan of this version. I am a big fan of the 5-cost Bonnie Starlock. I'm a big fan of 8-cost kit as well, and the Tashigi is really good as a support in order to protect the 8-cost kit, which is great. The 7-cost Law is a really good card as well. Later stages of the game, I have also found myself sometimes going just let's say I have an existing 7-cost Law on the board. I will just swing 9k leader and then leader effect, return this to hand, and then play it again so I can heal 1, because I am just in that kind of position where that extra 1 life does matter. So that's pretty good as well. Or it can also set me up for a leader effect, like I can play like a stunning Bonnie off of the life again after this. So depending on what I set there the previous turn, if I did set anything there as well. So really good in general. The deck has a lot of different lines. It's very fun to play, but sometimes it does feel not super rewarding, especially considering the rest of the meta. The Teach matchup is particularly horrible, and I would not wish that matchup on many people. But it is what it is. I will continue to work on this deck as well as Yamato for the rest of OP10. I think that will probably be my 2 main decks. But I will be testing some of the other leaders as well. And I will be trying to make some OP9 videos since I didn't do much that set for you guys. Thank you so much for watching, friendos and randos. If you watched this far, I really appreciate it. If you liked it, you have any questions, please feel free to leave me a DM or a comment. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and follow me on X for more of my shenanigans. Thank you so much for watching this far, and I will see you guys again next time. Peace out.